Today we're looking at Nigerian debt profile and the new borrowing that is approved by the World Bank. They're talking about $750 million. That money is expected to focus on two critical areas. One, the healthcare security, and of course to expand access to climate resilient digital infrastructure, particularly in underserved areas there. Let's look at this and of course other key issues of concerns to Nigerians. And I'm now being joined via phone by Wilson Agaba, who is a financial analyst, to help us look at these critical areas. Good morning, Mr. Wilson.
Good morning, Yusuf. How are you doing today?
Very well. Good to hear your voice. We hope we wish we are actually with us here in the studio. But let's.
I was fully prepared before the call came in, and I have to go for the meeting.
It's okay. It's okay. But let's before we go into this main topic, I want to hear your thought about this ongoing face-off between Pengassin and Dangote.
You see, I had a conversation with somebody about this issue yesterday, and I was telling them that the major challenge I see in Nigerian unionization is that the union often forgets that they also hold the duty to build the economy. What do I mean by that? A company as critical as the Dangote refinery shouldn't be treated like just any company. This is not me saying we should give so much power to Dangote, but its industry has affected our life, all of us. That we are buying fuel less than 1,000 naira per liter today is the effort of that refinery. Secondly, before a person becomes a member of that union, the person has to work in a company that operates in that sector. So if there is no Dangote refinery, those people won't have the employment. I don't see you and I being their member or the unemployed youth on the road being their member. So they all need each other. Labor has to be there for Dangote. Dangote has to be there for labor. And we need all of them for the economy to grow. So it shouldn't always be a kind of face-off. Oh, I point my gun on you, you point my gun on me, and the winner takes it all. No, there should be a lot of negotiation.
All right.
One of the things that I've noticed in the past is that we have unions who only talk about, in quotes, the interest of the workers. But nobody talks about staff who sabotage companies, steal it, and leave the company. They go to get job elsewhere again. What does the union do to ensure that their members don't kill companies? So these are things
That's
that
a very
we need to start considering.
That's a very big question. What is the union doing to ensure that their members don't kill companies? I mean, that is also very critical. It's not enough to just fight for the welfare or for the right of workers. What are they doing? What is their contribution to, supporting that company? Which is a very critical question that you have asked.
Yes, and again, we need to start looking at the aspect of what are we actually even fighting for? That is the interest of the worker. Now, one of the things union, in fact, the main goal of the workers' union is to fight for the welfare of the worker. Now, let's put Dangote's salary for every cadre of worker in the industry at par with other people. Is the salary good compared to other companies? What of other packages like health insurance scheme? What of other packages like pension contributions? What of other packages? Have we put this on the table, and have we seen that Dangote is not being fair to the workers? So it is not, the reason you join the union is if you are not heard. If the employer is taking undue advantage of you. But if all these indices are good, I don't see why the Pengassin should be fighting tooth and nail to get Dangote's workers to join. It is not joining for the joining sake. If you have had reports from this company that look, oh, we have been maltreated. We are doing overtime. They are not paying us. They are using us. Then you say, okay, we can't help you until you join. Then even if they are not your member, you can even see go to the management of the company and tell them, well, these people are not our member, but as long as they are workers, we are in solidarity with them. We have come to hear why you treat them like this. And then if you are not treating them good, if you don't have confidence that you will treat them good, we will want them to join us so that we have legal power to fight on their behalf.
Yeah, absolutely, which is very correct. But Dangote has also said that he has better incentives for his own workers than the government workers, so to say. He said he's paying like ×4 of the minimum wage. That's what his workers are, his least workers, that's what they are earning. What is it with the labor unions that are coming into the matter that some will say it doesn't really concern them? Are they really fighting for the workers or they are fighting for their survival?
I think this is akin to what I listened to somebody mention on TV this morning, and I think that Dangote has been quoted in some media to have said the same, that this union takes about 50,000 naira as loading fee for any truck that loads from any petroleum product from any
countries.
Reserve, yes, here in Nigeria. If that is true, and that can only be activated when members of your organizations when staff of organizations are their members, then it means this is the only reason they are fighting, because of the money we get from the loading, and also maybe what they will deduct from the staff salary as dues for the union. Then another thing I even wanted to bring up is this union, for instance, if they truly collect this loading fee, what law empowers them to do that? Now, if they collect that money truly, multiply 50,000 by 2,000 trucks per day and see what you get.
That's millions of naira.
Now, what are they doing with that humongous amount of money? Do they construct facilities that ease the operation in this sector? Are they funding roads that their trucks pass? And what are they sponsoring? Why should an organization have access to such amount of money when they do not take on any social activities? So I think a time has come for us to review the laws that empowers this union, to also cut them to be transparent and responsible.
Indeed, very, very important. We need the unions to be transparent and responsible. That is a very critical question that you have made. There, we are not seeing them being involved in any corporate social responsibilities. We are not really seeing them taking up any critical project. We also know that Dangote has done quite a whole lot. I recall the Apapa road that he did, Papa Oshodi road that he did in Lagos there as part of his own contribution, but quite a whole lot. Big questions need to be asked with regards to the role and of course the motive of this union. Are they there for the workers or are they actually there for themselves? These are critical questions that we need to ask. Let's then go back to our topic for today, the issue of Nigeria debt profile. We are back again, borrowing again, another $750 million from the World Bank. I mean, what would you make of this new borrowing? This is going to increase our debt profile.
Yes, it's going to increase our debt profile. And like I said in one of our programs earlier this year, when we first talked about this debt issue, I told you that from the moment we said we floated Naira, it immediately increased our foreign debt in terms of the value of money we need to gather over here in the country before we are able to pay. Because most of our foreign debt are, in fact, all of our foreign debt are priced in USD. So imagine you are owing 1 billion before, and exchange rate was 460 Naira to a dollar. That means you would need to pay 460 billion. By the time Naira depreciates to 1,500 and you now recalculate, you will be paying about 1.5 trillion. So that is as bad as it gets. Your what you are owing compared to your revenue, which is mostly at home, apart from the crude that we export, it becomes like 3 times. Now, that I think as of now, the government is using about 80% of its locally generated revenue to pay debts. So, but for a developing country like Nigeria, we cannot do without borrowing. But there is what I call responsible borrowing. You don't borrow money as an individual to go and buy an expensive phone just to show off that you have bought an expensive phone. If you are borrowing money, you should put it into a venture that is going to help you recover the money. For government, if we are borrowing money to set up critical infrastructure that will in the immediate begin to give us money back to pay for itself, then that is good. We remember when the former administration was borrowing to fix airport, borrowing to fix rail, borrowing to do that. That was a good strategy, assuming it was properly monitored.
And utilized.
So we have the Lagos-Ibadan train track paying its load, so we don't have to go and bring from somewhere to pay it. The Abuja-Kaduna train was paying for itself. That's the kind of borrowing that can get you to develop. But when you borrow to, I try to look at the projects that this money is going to go into. They are mostly big, no specific.
Mr. Wilson, according to the government, the loan is aimed to strengthen Nigeria healthcare security and expand access to climate resilient digital infrastructure, particularly in underserved areas. Will you still describe this as vague?
Well, the health security. What is our national health plan? Now, if we don't know the overall robust national health plan, how do we know where we are going to invest in to ensure national health security? How do we know? And how did we quantify that? So maybe those in government know, because it's their job to know. You and I may not have privilege to all of that. Our digital infrastructure, what are the digital infrastructure? Do we have an accurate record mapping of the digital infrastructure that we currently have and what we will need? And to what extent are we expanding our digital infrastructure? To what extent? What is the goal of our digital infrastructure? Because you don't just build. You have to have something that this will help you achieve. Like I was telling a friend the other day, I said, what we need at this point is for Nigeria to sit back and redefine its vision. What is the Nigeria of our dream? Then we sell these ideas to Nigerians. And Nigerians look for leaders who can bring us to this vision. As it is now, we cannot just be doing things haphazardly and expecting to get results. If we are going to borrow money, we should see that is properly funneled into something that is measurable, something that can give both immediate benefit, medium-term benefit, and long-term benefit. We have not properly accounted for the ones we have taken. We are taking more. And the conditions and terms for these loans are not properly defined. What problem are we getting ourselves into? What will our children in the future face? These are the questions that Nigerians are asking.
But the question also,
the government needs to communicate more.
Indeed, but according to the government, we are still below our threshold, so we can still borrow more as much as possible. And in recent times, we've seen an increasing or a surge in World Bank funding in recent years? Is it the right thing to do, given the fact that government said there's so much is coming out from revenue, given the last GDP reporting where we saw that the non-oil sector are recording over 95% growth?
Okay, let me ask you a personal question. Are you not credit worthy? Are you out there taking loans out from everywhere because you are still below your threshold? You don't borrow because you can still borrow. You borrow because there's a pressing need and because you can put this money to a proper use to get you from somewhere you are to somewhere you need to be. So saying that we still below threshold is not a good reason to borrow. The reason to borrow should be that we are here now. We want to be there. We need X, Y, Z, but our revenue will take time to get us there. So I want to borrow to put here so that I can take me from point A to B. And then when you borrow, we see you getting from point A to B. Even if you don't get to B, but you are getting somewhere between A and B. And you say, well, I thought it would be enough, but now it's not enough. I need more to get to B. It's understandable. But let's not be throwing around the reason of, we still have more threshold. I am an advocate of loan is not a bad idea. The application is always the issue. So if we have not properly managed the ones we have taken and we have not shown the public good proof of its usage, I think it doesn't make sense to keep borrowing.
Indeed, it doesn't really
make sense.
If
we actually bring efficiency to governance and procurement processes, we will not need to borrow as much as we are currently borrowing.
Indeed, they will keep borrowing and still it is still not enough. Before President Buhari left office, former President Muhammadu Buhari left office, Nigeria debt stock was around 87 trillion naira. As of today, it's around 149 trillion naira, and it's projected to hit 180 trillion naira probably before the end of the year. What do you make of this humongous borrowing? Where are we heading to? It is a huge number.
You know, normally we should be seeing this in the infrastructural development that we have achieved. But is it that these infrastructures are not there, or the government has failed in reporting its own strides? Either of it is a slap on the face of this current administration. If you have worked and you have been able to get people to see the work that you have done, you have failed yourself. And if you have not worked, therefore people can't see it, you have also failed yourself. So, like I mentioned earlier, if these borrowing are not used effectively and efficiently, we will never see it. A lot of Nigerians today allude to the fact that these borrowing are just for people in government to squander and loot. Sometimes when you don't see this result, you want to begin to believe in what they say on the street.
Mr. Wilson, Mr. Wilson, some say that the debt burden is crowding out funding for essential public services and capital projects. Do you believe that is the case?
Yes, it is possible. And I was working on a research paper the other day, and this is one issue that comes up very often when it comes to issue of debt and government in different countries. What it means is it, suppose that there's a Mr. Yusuf, different from you, that has 2 billion naira for people to come and borrow. And you and I, we are the borrowers. If you go there and take 1.8 billion, what is left is 200 million. And that's the only amount that Mr. Yusuf will be able to loan to any other person else. So suppose you take your own and you squander it, take most of it out of the country and all of that. Then the only one that is available for other people to take and do productive economic activities within the country becomes that 200 million. So when government borrows too much, they are shrinking what is available for private sector to take. And the truth is that government will always have advantage over the private sector. If a private company goes to borrow from a bank today and the government comes to borrow, the bank will prefer to borrow to the government because there's less risk involved. So it is true that this too much debt is crowding the space and is making it difficult for private sector, which should add to the economic activities to get access to public.
All right, Mr. Wilson, there's also a concern about the rising cost of debt servicing as well, because the more you borrow, the more you continue to service this debt. And in most cases, we see that even when you pay off the loan, you continue, paying, some form of services to this bank. Should we continue to, toe this line? It is worrisome. If you look at the statistic from the Debt Management Office, Nigeria current debt to World Bank is around $18.23 billion as at March. Of course, that's an increase of $17.81 billion from December. This includes $16.99 billion from IDA, International Development Agency, and of course, $1.24 billion from IBRD. When you are in this kind of situation, how will you manage your budget? Because we're going to spend more on debt servicing.
The thing is, there are a few issues to loans. Although we might not be able to go into the detail of it, but a lot about loans are the terms and conditions. And there are people who are good with these details and can negotiate the terms for you. I have come across some of our loan documents before, and I would say that some of the terms there were not very favorable. However, our people signed it. So all of these costs that we are talking about, there are countries that get these loans and these conditions are not attached because they have the best people negotiating these conditions for them. Okay? But for us, it's just that the same sickness that worries every sector in our country where the best people are not plugged into the place that they are most competent. So we get some conditions that are very ridiculous. And that is why we have this overburdening, servicing, and all of that. But again, naturally, because our currency is being depreciated, the cost of servicing our foreign debt will generally increase. Because if you are saying maybe you are paying 0.025% of a certain term as your interest per annum, and it's priced in dollars, you still have to raise the money in naira. Okay? And the other leg of people that is productivity. If we can actually curate more products from more sectors to sell outside the country, then of course we'll be able to raise hard currency to mark up for these differences. But of course, unfortunately, petroleum is the only thing that we export as a government, significantly. Other things are very minute. And then the private sector impact on all of those things. So we are having this because of lack of competence on the part of people, or sincerity or patriotism on the part of people who negotiate these loans. And because of the way our leaders have put us out there, the way you present yourself is the way you will be priced.
Absolutely.
So we are ready to take because we know it's not our personal money. After I leave the office, the next leader will come and he will have to deal with it. The next leader comes.
Exactly. So, that is becoming like the norm. Mr. Wilson, the World Bank Group now accounts for 39.7% of Nigeria external debt stock, which stood at $45.98 billion in Q1 of 2025. This represents a steady increase from 36.4% at the end of 2023. One will recall that when we paid the COVID-19 loan, there was a lot of excitement that, of course, government is gradually paying back the debt, but we are still owing so much. But what the president did say recently is that for domestic borrowing, Nigeria has subpedaled with regards to that because there's enough revenue in that space. Talking about cutting the cost of governance, don't you think if we can actually do that, cut, a whole lot, we see ministers, the president, governors moving about with, humongous, the long convoys, as you know. Don't you think if we cut costs on all of this, a lot of them has special advisors who are not advising them in any way. Do you think we're actually doing ourselves? Let me use that word.
Do you remember a certain special advisor to the president who resigned? He was supposed to advise the president on
media and publicity.
No, not that one. There is not a jury. There's another one.
Okay.
I don't want to call him. He mentioned on the media, one of the media chats, that he never met the president until he resigned. He worked with him for 2 years. So how did he advise the president? So what I'm trying to say is to confirm what you are saying now, that the size of government, especially the political component of the government, is too bogus. For instance, this administrator have 48, I think 49 ministers. All of them have their convoy of maybe 2-3 SUVs, 2 to 3 Hilux vans, and all of that. And then police escort. And each of them have a large number of SAs. They have special assistants, they have special advisors. Even some of the special advisors will have special assistants, who will also have special assistants. All of this coming from government coffers. Not to talk of when you go to the National Assembly, where all the members have, their entourage of staff.
They have chief of staff. Indeed, Mr. Wilson, quite a whole lot to chew, but time is always not our friend. A lot needs to be done with regards to our desk talk. I must thank you, Wilson, Agaba Wilson Agaba. We appreciate your contributions on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Of course, a lot to shoot there about Nigerian debt stock. A lot we're owing, but we hope that this new borrowing will be used judiciously. According to the report, this money will be invested in telecom infrastructure, especially in areas where there are none, or to also be invested in healthcare security, which is indeed very, very, very critical to us there as well. A lot needs to be done in the healthcare because we've seen a lot of lapses. Only yesterday, the Arise news reporter who was attacked by armed robber was said to have been rushed to a hospital within the FCT, and the hospital were asking for means of identification before they could attend to her, and eventually she and the security guards that were brought to the hospital passed away. Sadly, we hope that this matter will be addressed with this new loan that is expected to address the health security. And it's on that note that we wrap up the show today. We'll be back again tomorrow, Nigeria Independence Day. I am Yusuf Akogu.